Hello and welcome to our program Where God Weeps. Tanzania is a country located on the southeast coast of Africa and is the 13th largest nation on the continent. Home to Kilimanjaro, Africa's largest mountain, and some of the Great Lakes of Africa, Tanzania has a rich history and diverse nature. There also remains the continuing challenge of widespread poverty, as the country remains amongst the poorest on earth. Here to talk to us about some of the challenges that Tanzania faces, and the Catholic Church in particular, is His Excellency Filbert Felician Mhasi, Bishop of the Diocese of Tunduru. Your Excellency, welcome to our program.
Thank you so much.
Your Excellency, where are you originally from? What part of Tanzania?
I am originally from the region of Morogoro region, a town called Ifakara, but I was born in a small village called Biro. That is my originality. Yeah.
Try to paint a picture of it for us. How can we imagine this village where you were born, Monsignor?
Yeah, that village is very remote from Morogoro town. You have to travel by bus or by car almost 5 hours to Ifakara. Then from Ifakara to that village which I was born, Biro, is 153 kilometers. It's a distance. So that's where I was born. And in that village, the tribe is mostly called Wandamba or Ndamba tribe. They are involved much in, there are some rivers in that area, so they are fishermen, a lot of fishermen. They're involved in fishing, and they are also involved in agricultural activity, and mostly rice.
So in this environment, you found your vocation, Monsignor. How did that happen? Did you grow up in a Christian family?
I was born there. Then 1 month after birth, my parents shifted to Ifakara town. That's where I was raised. I went to primary education there. Then after finishing my primary education there to Ifakara, 7 years, then I went to the seminary, minor seminary or junior seminary, which is at Mahenge. It's almost 70 kilometers from Ifakara town.
So at a very young age, you already had an interest in priestly vocation?
Yes, in actual fact, I had an interest when I was in a primary school. Normally, at that time, when you are now near to finish primary education, when you are standard 6 or standard 7, we had some catechists going around writing the names of those who want to do the exam to join junior seminary or minor seminary. So when they came to our class, I was one of them raising up my hand that I want to do the exam to join the junior seminary. And it happened. I was chosen, I did the exam, and I passed the exam.
What year were you ordained?
I was ordained priest 2001. And I was ordained bishop 2019 in another diocese, southern part of Tanzania, that is Tunduru Masas.
Were you surprised, Your Excellency, when you received the news that you were going to be appointed as a bishop?
Yes, in actual fact, I was surprised because I couldn't imagine that one day I'll be chosen, I will be appointed to become a bishop. Yeah, I was just there in my diocese and in my parish, the cathedral, where my bishop appointed me to be the parish priest. I was busy doing my pastoral work without even thinking that it will come my day that I will be appointed bishop of a certain diocese. So I was in actual fact surprised, but I had to accept.
Sure. What is your motto, Your Excellency?
My motto is, everyone is precious in God's eyes. Everyone, every human being in God's eyes.
Why were you
is
moved
precious.
to have such a statement?
I had such a statement because of where I'm coming from. As I said, I was born in a very small village, that's the poorest village. And my parents were also poor. My mother just ended in standard 4. My father just up to standard 2, primary education. So we were 9 in the family, two girls, 7 men. So I had, as a family, it's a poor family. I'm coming from a very poor family. So to be raised up until I become a bishop, I couldn't even imagine. That's why I said, to God's eyes, everybody's precious. Be you poor, be you rich, be you white, be you black, be you any kind of a human being. God can raise you and put you in a certain position. So everybody is precious.
And put you in a position to serve.
Yeah.
More than anything. You know, poverty is a real challenge for your country. Now, sometimes in Western countries, we think that poverty is having some limited resources, not having a really nice house. But when we talk about poverty in Tanzania, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I don't know in which part, but to me, when I talk about poverty, especially in my areas and the way I grew up, you see, to some of the people there, it's difficult even to get 2 meals per day.
Not even 2 meals per day?
Yeah, it's really difficult. I experienced that when I was with my parents. All of them have passed away. But when I was especially in primary school, sometimes I couldn't go back home in the afternoon. I go to school in the morning without even taking breakfast because there is no breakfast. In the afternoon, I couldn't come back home because I knew when I go back home, I'll get nothing, no lunch. So it might pass in the morning, afternoon, then in the evening, my mother and my father could struggle here and there to get something to eat. So this is really, it was really tough. And not only at my time, even at this time, there are some also who are struggling to get 1 meal per day, even 2 meals per day. So this is the poverty which you are talking about. And some others even clothes. Some children, to get some clothes is difficult. We thank the government.
So the little children run naked or semi-naked because they don't have
just semi-naked,
clothes.
You can say. Yeah, we thank our government because they've given free education to all children of Tanzania, especially primary education and the secondary education. So this helps a lot, even those children from very poor families to go and get education.
That's very important. It's going to be the
Yes,
solution to get out of this condition.
Yeah.
But Your Excellency, maybe it's not a fair question for you because you're not an economist, certainly. But why such poverty? I mean, the country itself has, it's quite rich in terms of natural resources. What is the problem?
So that is the question which we have been asking ourselves for a long time. Maybe we are we cannot tap and use the resources which we have quite well.
Because?
Yeah, we have many resources. Maybe because of the capital, or maybe because of our experts and our leaders. They cannot sit together and see how and in which way we can tap our resources and use them for the benefit of our people and our country. Maybe that is a problem. But it's a question which we have been asking ourselves. Why for all this time? And we are saying that we have a lot of resources, and it's true. We have a lot of resources, and we have natural resources which are there. We have national parks, a lot of animals and good animals. Tourists are coming to Tanzania. So we have all this. But the problem, how to sit down and see how we use well our resources. Maybe we fail there. Maybe lack of capital or lack of know-how, that sit together and not how to use the resources which we have. So we're still struggling on that.
Monsignor, you described very dire conditions when you were growing up, but in that environment, how was faith in your family?
My family, I thank God that I grew up in a Christian and Catholic faith, in actual fact. And even in that village which I was born, most of the people there are Christians, are Catholics. So my family have been raised the Catholic family. It's different from the diocese which I am now, which is almost 85% a Muslim. So I'm coming from a Catholic diocese, and I was appointed to go to a diocese with 85% are Muslims.
Very different reality.
Yes, very different reality.
And I'm glad that you go into these topics, because obviously this is one of my questions to you. In Tanzania, the population is divided between Muslims and Christians almost even.
Yes.
In terms of percentage for the total country.
Yeah.
However, there are areas, as you're explaining us now, where one or the other concentrates more. Are there challenges with coexisting between these two faiths and the people?
One of the things that we Tanzanians have to thank God is that yes, we sometimes, I cannot deny that it might happen, there are some people, that few of them, might start something, but as a whole, I can say we live peacefully, friendly. Yeah. As I said, though sometimes it happens, some fanatic people may start something, but I remember myself when I was in primary school, two of my friends were Muslims, and I was going to their home places, we eat together.
You never had a problem that they would accuse you of infidel, or you accusing them of something else?
Not at all. And even when I was appointed bishop, one of my friends who is a Muslim called me and congratulated me. Yeah, and he said, one day I will come and we sit together and we eat together. So even, for example, now our president is a Muslim, a woman. When we had the meeting of our Messiah, she invited all the bishops. And when we went there, we saw even the Muslim leaders, the sheikh, were there. And we sat together and ate together, enjoy. So, as I said, we are happy on that, though sometimes, some very few, I cannot condemn that all the Christians, all the Catholics, or all the Muslims. But when we are even like that, there must happen sometimes some group of few people who can start something bad. Yeah, and the government is taking care of that.
And we saw some of that a few years ago in Zanzibar, where there were some attacks, Monsignor. But I guess there's a difference with some other countries because, if I understand correctly what you're saying, when these attacks happen or with these isolated incidents happen, the government is not silent about it, and there are consequences.
Yes.
Which makes a big difference with other countries where it's impunity for these actions.
Yeah.
So it's not the case in Tanzania.
Not the case. The government acts very quickly, especially to that isolated group which has started this thing. The government acts very quickly. I say that because, you see, even in the families where we are living, you can see Christian, Muslims, they are living in one house. So when we say that these things has to continue, we are going to kill each other. That's why the government acts so quickly when some group of Muslims or even Christian start something, so that they act and peace come and we continue living.
Now, it's very interesting, the challenge that you must face, Your Excellency, with 85% of the population of the area of your diocese being Muslim. So what are the challenges that you have in this regard to promote interreligious dialogue? Or
Yes, one, as you said, we are doing this interreligious dialogue. And in actual fact, you see, those people there, I was even surprised when I went there for the first time. When it comes to Christmas, when it comes to Easter, I tell you, the Christians, the Catholics invite the Muslims to eat together. So they go there and eat. It's Muslim families and Christian families come and eat together. And also, when it comes to Muslim festivals, they invite the Christians, the Catholics and other Christians. They go and eat together. So you can find out that though the good number of Muslims is there, the few number of Catholics, but most of the areas, not all areas, most of the area, we live in a peaceful relationship. The thing that I've seen there, most of the people there, I can say, did not get a chance to go to school. And
so
this, I mean,
illiteracy rate is very high?
Yes, and this, I mean, that most have ended just with the primary education. Yeah, maybe because of the culture of those people there. Mostly, as I said, we are these Muslims. You know, the Muslims, they are allowed to marry 4 wives, 2 wives, things like that. So now the government, as I said, they have opened up for this free education, for primary education and secondary education. So even those families which were very poor, which were afraid to send their kid to school because of shortage of money or funds, they can now send their school. That's why nowadays a lot of kids are going to school, especially to primary education. When it comes to secondary education, also the good number is joining secondary education. Though sometimes problem is buying the materials. The parents are responsible for that, to buy the books, to buy exercise books, to buy pen, and to buy a lot of things for their children. So it's the responsibility of the parents. So, but it makes a difference, those old days and now, because the government has opened up a free education for our children of primary school and secondary school.
Monsignor, and are you involved in education, meaning the Catholic Church is involved in education?
Yes, especially the Catholic Church is involved a lot in education, and even the government knows that and
relies in the education
because
provided
we have many kindergarten schools, the Catholic kindergartens, a lot of them. Primary schools are there, secondary schools are there, universities are there, yeah. And it's free for all. Only the seminary just for the Catholics. But when it comes to secondary schools, it's free for all. Be you a Catholic, be you Anglican, be you Muslim, anybody. Yeah.
Now, talking about pastoral work, because at the end that is your priority. You are a shepherd of souls. What are the main challenges that you have? Are we talking about here of first evangelization, or is more formation of the faith that they already have?
Both, I can say both. In other places, yeah, evangelization is difficult because it's difficult to reach those areas. They are very far. Yeah. And you either have to use a motorcycle, or if you have a car, to use your car, but not all priests in the parishes have the car. So someone in a very remote area. So to reach that area takes time. Sometimes it can pass 3 months. A priest has not gone there. We rely just on the catechists. And these catechists have gone to school maybe for 6 months or 1 year. Very few have studied for 2 years catechesis. And even if they have studied, when they are working there, they are doing their pastoral work in the outstations, we call. They want to get something at the end of the month. But those people are very poor. So they cannot sometimes afford even to give this catechist something. Mm-hmm. Now, the catechists have families. They have a wife, they have children. So sometimes they use a lot of their times to work in their families, to work in their farms, agricultural activities. So they don't have time to go and teach either in the primary schools and the secondaries or some centers, because they use their time to do agricultural activities so that they can get something for their families. So that is a problem. So you as a bishop, you have to find out how can I sustain the catechists in order for them to get time to go and teach in the primary schools, in the secondary schools, on Sundays. Yeah. That's a very big challenge which I as a bishop I get. Because I have few priests, I rely mostly on these catechists. I have more than 140 catechists, and wow, which I needed to sustain them. And I don't have money to sustain them. So they just go and work in their home places. So those girls, boys, which are kids, young boys, they don't get somebody to teach them. I have only 20 priests, and these 20 priests cannot go around in all these 140 and something outstations. So it's very challenging to me.
Yes, Your Excellency, I can see that you have the, we could say, the prima materia of the faith and the zeal to evangelize, yeah. But you have limited resources. And what would you like that the Universal Church would do and would know about your reality?
Yeah, that's a very good question. A very good question. One of the things is that has to go together. First of all, to make a lot of men and women, or can say boys and girls, who are willing and they are there to want to go and study catechist. That can help me in the outstations. But to send them, you need money also to send them to the college to study for 1 year, for 2 years. You also need the money to educate them and to give them the zeal to do their work as catechists. The second also, sometimes I get problem to invite many boys to go to the major seminary, take philosophy and take theology, because even there you have to pay also. So if I get some of the assistance for these catechists and for my seminarians, that is one of them. Secondly, is that in my diocese I have only a seminary, minor seminary, and just for boys. So I would like, as a bishop, one of the work of evangelization is also if I have schools, secondary schools. In these secondary schools, I can get boys and get girls to study in this secondary school, and slowly you can penetrate the Catholic faith in those schools. And also, if we have the dispensaries, see, when you have dispensaries, people can come there, be you a Christian, be you a Muslim. They can come there to get treatment. And that is one of the work of the evangelization to this kind of people. So these are some of the things which will help me a lot in my diocese.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for giving us this time to get to know the realities and the challenges of Tanzania, and in particular of your diocese. Thank you.
I appreciate. Thank you so much, and I pray and wish you all the best in your missionary activities. Thank you so much.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us in another program of Where God Weeps. If you want to know more about the work that the Church is doing in Tanzania, we invite you to contact information at the end of this program. Thank you, and God bless.